Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about how Harry Potter fans still can't get over a black Snape and are trying their extreme best to twist the Snape-like narrative in the books and try to turn it into a racist discussion on why Snape just can't be black. But the real thing is they just don't want a black person in this movie. Period. That's all it is. If you look on the internet nowadays, anytime there's a black character in a movie or a show, there's always that one white person who has to complain because they can't stand seeing a black person on screen. There's a new movie coming out called Zazie Beetz is in it where she's killing people. I think it's called like Everybody Must Die or no, They Will Kill You or something like that. I think it's called They Will Kill You. And there are literally people complaining, talking about, oh, here come the DEI. Oh, this must be another white man bad, black person good movie. Oh, I'm so sorry that seeing white people be bad on screen offends you so much. But that's just the reality of how the world is and everything. But when it's a black person or a Latino person or an Indian person, I'm talking about Indian overseas, or an Asian person being bad, you ain't got no problem with that. But here we go, once again, talking about Black Snape. Ever since it was announced, Harry Potter fans have done one thing and one thing only, expose themselves as being racist. Yes, another fandom from a big IP turns out to be racist. Now I see why in that one movie, I think it was the fourth Harry Potter movie, the Death Eaters, their hoods resembled a white supremacist group hood. But then it had to be replaced because it resembled that white supremacist group. Now I see why. Because that's how the fans secretly are. And you really only have J.K. Rowling and her moldy self to blame for this. She basically made nearly every character in the book white, or people got the assumption that they are white because, see, here's the thing, right? I ain't never read these books and I never will, but I watched the crimson waves out of those movies and I own them. And when you watch the movies, all you see is an all-white cast. And maybe there's one lonely black person, Dean, or one lonely Asian person, I forget her name, chose, something I can't remember her name. And then that one black dude towards the end of the movies. And that's really all you got. That's literally all you got. And in the books, a lot of people who are hardcore fans have literally said a lot of people's races were not described, and JK literally just called them pale. Pale can literally mean anything. They're pale white people, pale Asian people, pale like Native American people, Latino people, black people. It honestly does not matter because pale is just somebody who doesn't have darkly colored tannish skin. And I remember that whole lavender discussion. A lot of people say in the books, the way they read it, she seems like a black girl. And that's the way they cast her in the background. But then, oh no, when she had a bigger role, what did Hollywood do? They made her white. And so, yeah. But, oh no, they can't handle a black Snape because, he's pale in the books and he's white in the movies. And some people are literally saying his race was never truly described in the books, with people arguing back and forth saying, well, what do you think pale means? It means white person and stuff like that. But it's like, have they not watched anything since the 1950s? And, it's so sad because the actor is getting racist death threats, not just racist threats, but death threats as well. Because, oh yeah, as a society now, excuse me, I had to cough. as a society now. Whenever you don't like something in the IP, the first thing you gotta do is find that person on social media and threaten to kill them. This is where we have stooped as a society. No wonder the world's at war with itself and everything. And everybody hates each other and stuff. Because people are scum. As I've said before, people just suck. And it's sad that this man is getting death threats. But it's like now they're going to the point of trying to justify their racism, trying to justify why we can't have a black Snape. And this isn't the first time Harry Potter has faced racism. When they had a black Hermione in the play, that one Harry Potter play, the Cursed Child, they made Hermione black. And little did people know that the actress received racism, and 'cause in her emails and stuff. It's like the moment a character looks a certain way, either in a book or on screen, people feel like that's the definitive version and nothing else should happen. And if you change their gender or race, God forbid, and everything, like it's blasphemy, and you commit the ultimate sin in their head canon and everything, and the world is gonna end because you race swap somebody, you gender swap somebody or something like that. It's like, it's fiction, people. There's a reason why people pick on nerds and geeks and stuff. You literally are like the example of why nerds and geeks got picked on in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and stuff, and even in the 90s. Like, get over yourself. And it's not just that. It's the whole, but they're crying online. They say the TV show was gonna be faithful to the books, and now we have a black man in here, and what is this wokeness about, and the DEI, and if you were to have a Harry Potter television series, which is gonna last about 8, 7 years, because they're trying to adapt every book and stuff, you're gonna have nothing but white people. And that's it. Except for that one Asian girl, maybe 2 black people, and that's literally it. And then we're right back to where we started all those decades ago, with white people dominating the screen and people of color not getting nothing. We are literally going back to that. Something y'all have so-called strive. I'm talking about, when I say y'all, I'm talking about white people, have talked about how, we need diversity in television. And remember, Black Lives Matter and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And representation should matter. The white people who actually make sense, who are not racist and who are not bigots, are now sounding like the bigots and the racists, all because their dear precious Harry Potter is being tweaked a little bit. And not only that, but they're crying about him. They're crying about Hermione, because still, we don't know what race that girl is in the movie. Not movie, but the television show. Because they got another actress of color. But on top of that, like, they are changing things from the books, and they're going to add new stuff in the show. They've stated that. But yet, you don't hear people complaining about that. Now, they did in the movie. And I'm sure the hardcore fans, I'm talking about the book fans, will complain about that. But see, one reason why so many book fans and movie fans are like up in arms about this whole Snape thing is because they're thinking about the movies. This ain't the movies. Stop thinking about the movies. I get it. It's gonna be hard. Like, even I look at the trailer, I'm all like, well, this looks different, but it also looks cool at the same time. I am intrigued. I've always wanted to see scenes that were cut from the movies that are supposed to be in the book that are now in the show. I'm so curious to see that. And it looks so dramatic with Harry laying on the floor, upset, crying because he's living in the closet. When I saw movie Harry living in the closet, I'm just like, cool. He's like playing pretend in the fort. He didn't look all that upset. And we get to see him getting bullied at school. And not only that, But there's this one YouTube channel that I've been watching lately about Harry Potter. Because to truly figure out what the whole Harry Potter thing is about, I've been watching YouTube channels that are hardcore book fans and stuff that's been left out of the movies. And one thing I just learned, the Dursleys aren't like slobs. They actually care about their appearance and how people perceive them, which is what the show is now going to do. I was going to say the show is going to show, but I was going to get tongue-tied. The movies never did that. The movies presented them as slobs and everything, but they're kind of like almost like a middle class, if you will. Like they care about appearances and stuff. Not only that, but we're gonna get to see some 90s British clothes, something you really didn't see in the movies because the movies were ultra stylized because they were movies and stuff. We're gonna get to see what the actual wands are supposed to kind of look like. They kind of did that in the first two movies. I've heard it's just like a handle with a twiggy looking stick. But then in the third movie, they started giving everybody their own stylized wands, which merch galore and everything. But in the show, I saw Harry's wand. I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of looks like what somebody described from YouTube, like in the book and everything. Just a handle and a stick projectile and everything. Nothing fancy smancy. It doesn't look like tree bark or nothing like that. So I'm all like, cool, but I like the stylized wands. Man, this show's gonna have a lot of new merch. Like the sorting hat looks black and everything. He doesn't look brown like he did in like the movie. And he looks like he's made from shiny leather and everything. And so like, I am thrilled. Like I debated if I was gonna watch this or not because I don't like JK being a bigot and everything. But it's like I'm a hardcore Harry Potter movie fan. I love Harry Potter. And it's just like I want to see this different interpretation that's supposed to be more faithful and everything. So, I guess I'm gonna watch it and everything. Like, and it's like I don't want to lose out on that experience, just because that heifer is like bigoted. I mean, look at wrestling. I like wrestling, but Vince McMahon's a horrible person. It's kind of like you can't blame the product because the creator is scum. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's almost every product that's made. There's a lot of products that are made that are scum and everything. And I'm not going to support her in no way, shape, or form. And, I might watch the show if I get HBO Max, that is. I don't like getting HBO Max. But back to this topic. I'm getting off topic. How exactly are Harry Potter fans, aka white fans, are trying to justify Snape, can't be black, with the whole racism thing? Well, they're basically taking every event that happens to Snape in the books and trying to say, no, you can't do that because he's black. And people are going to come off looking as racist and everything. First of all, since when have y'all ever cared about racism? Honestly. So many people claim they are not racist, but when they see racism happening in television and movies and in real life, they could care less. They could honestly care less because they don't care. Plain and simple as that. They give it a pass. We've seen that in today's time. Yes, I was shocked and surprised when I saw so many people around the world marching for Black Lives Matter. People who were not black. And to me, I'm like, wow, they must have really woken up and like saw what we've been saying and everything. And they're finally gonna take a stand and stand with black people because we are people too. But what happened? A bunch of racist white people is all like, ugh, black people are getting attention and taking the attention away from us and making us feel guilty. We gotta find a way to turn this around. Oh, I know. Let's say all lives matter and let's say representation doesn't matter and blah, blah, blah. And what happened? The movement died out, as always. And so, what is always them? It's always the negative ones. It's always the toxic ones. It's always the racist ones. Not the normal ones. It's always the racist ones. And for some reason, people tend to always listen to the racist ones and the bigots and the toxic people and let them rule the world for some bizarre reason. And other people like Leah Michelle and Candace Michelle, hey, two Michelles, they hopped on the bandwagon of Black Lives Matter, and then they got exposed to how they treated black people. So it was some people who woke up and other people who just want to jump on the bandwagon because they want somebody to talk about them and they want to look progressive and everything until they get exposed. And but it's kind of sad that people are twisting the narrative of Snake's backstory and his life just to fit their agenda and everything on why we can't have a black Snape. You know what? Now I wish they would have made Harry Potter black or Pakistani Indian, because there's a lot of them in Britain, just to make y'all cry. Just to make y'all cry. Because, like, here's the thing about Harry Potter, right? If you are a hardcore book fan or a hardcore movie fan, then you already know why Snape is the way he is, why he gets bullied the way he is, why people fear him, and it has nothing to do with race. It happens to be because he is a dark person who's, and a scary person. People fear him, people judge him. But what people didn't know is that he once fell in love. He was the hero of like the story all along because he literally went into the devil's playground just to be a spy and everything. Oh no, we can't bring that up because it makes him look good and everything. Because now since we got a black Snake, we got to bring up the bad stuff. But like I said before, it's the hardcore fans, the movie ones and the book ones. They know who and what Snape is about. It's going to be the new people coming in and not knowing. So I understand that part of the argument for when they see Snape getting bullied by James Potter and his friends, when he's being hung upside down in a tree by magic, looking like he's being lynched or something, that's gonna appear racist and everything. When he comes out of the box as a boggart from Neville and everything, it's gonna look like Neville's probably scared of a black man or something like that. Harry and his friends are always going to accuse him of stuff. It's going to look like they're prejudiced and racist, but that's only because they are unfamiliar or they're very young and never seen it. And that's when you have to correct them and everything. Because the hardcore fans know exactly why all this stuff is happening. And it has nothing to do with racism. But oh no, here comes all the white boys and the white girls and all these other people on the internet, Twitter and YouTube. They're all like, but no, you can't do this. You can't do that. If Harry Potter and his friends always assume he's the bad guy and he's the one doing all this bad stuff, it's gonna make them look racist and they're judging a black man. Since when do you care when a white person judges a black person? You don't. So stop pretending like you do. But oh no, when he's a boggart and he's Neville's boggart and Neville's scared of him, it's gonna make this little boy scared of a black man. You don't care about that because you teach your kids to be scared of black men. You teach your kids to, when they see a black man walking down the street or the sidewalk or whatever, or like in the mall or the store, you have to go in the opposite direction. You teach them to be scared of black people. But now all of a sudden you care? Oh no, we can't have a group of white people hang a black man upside down, not on a rope. But like with magic, dangling from like a tree or whatever, that's gonna make them look like they're hanging him or lynching him or something like that. First of all, if your people didn't do that in the past, you wouldn't even have that conversation. And your people did that a lot. Second of all, there have been times where some white person has drawn a noose, like on Martin Luther King Day or whatever day that's like black related, or tattered a picture somewhere on a wall next to a black person, and you just don't care. You didn't care then, but oh no, all of a sudden you care now and stuff like that. But why do you care now and everything? Because you're trying to justify your racism and everything. And that's the problem. It's like I said before, hardcore fans know why that is happening. people and now they, oh, I forgot the other one. Oh no. But like Lily Potter, like Snape had a crush on her and she was friends with him. But then she ran for a white boy and everything. That's gonna make her look like she didn't want to date a black boy. Oh no. First of all, you teach your kids not to date black people. You teach your kids not to be friends with black people. Yes, this is true, even still to this day and everything. But all of a sudden you care now? Now all of a sudden you care? But you didn't care before? And if you care so much, are you dating a black person currently? Are you married to one currently? Are you like banging one currently? I don't think so. And stuff. But it's funny how now all of a sudden y'all care about black messaging and black sorrows and black woe is me's and everything. It reminds me of the MCU Disney Plus show Ironheart, where a lot of the bigots on YouTube was all like, oh, good going, Marvel Disney. Here you have a black female teenage superhero and you have her be a criminal. That looks great for black society, making them look like criminals. First of all, you don't care. And second of all, you assume all black people are criminals anyway, and the only people in jail are black people. But when there's more actually white people in jail, you like, that's not true. That's not true. It's just a difference of opinion and everything. Like, you don't care. You don't care. You don't care. But all of a sudden, to try to justify your narrative and your agenda, you care now. And here's the thing, right? I can prove to you, I don't even have to show you like Twitter posts or like YouTube posts or anything like that to prove that all these Harry Potter fans are racist. All I gotta do is show you one picture and black people will understand what I'm saying, and people who are not black but date black people or bang them will know exactly what I mean. This picture right here. So when it got announced that there's going to be a black Snape, tons of people started photoshopping and AIing pictures of the actor looking like Snape. But what did they do? Look very closely at the hair. They took Alan Richardson's hair and they just photoshopped it on the black actor. And that told me right then and there, they're racist by default just by that picture. Because black people ain't got hair like that. We do not have long, straight hair. Okay? We can make it that way by growing it out and doing something with chemicals and, this and that to make it straight. But we ain't got hair like that. All right? Even Michael Jackson had to make his hair look like that. All right? Our hair has nappiness to it. Our hair has curliness to it. When I first heard there was gonna be a black Snape, the first thing I thought to myself, okay, then he's gonna have long hair like the books, and he's gonna have either braids or dreads. And oh look, he does in this show. But all these people automatically assumed he was gonna have long straight hair. They could not picture him with a black hairstyle because they are unfamiliar. Some people are unfamiliar with black hairstyles and everything because they ain't got that many black friends or they don't watch too many black shows. The sheer fact, that's how they created him with long straight hair, told me they were getting their racism on by just that picture and everything. They couldn't even Photoshop the man or tell AI to put dreads or braids on him. A common male black hairstyle when they want longer hair. Couldn't even do that. You had to give him the long straight hair because the actor originally had that. That told me all I need to know. Plain and simple. And it's even sadder now because when he got announced playing Snape, you even had black people talking about like They don't want to see that. Not because they don't want this man to have the opportunity of a lifetime, not because they don't want black representation, but they knew exactly how white people was going to act to this. They were going to act like bigots and racists, and boom, y'all proved us right. I've heard black people literally say, they don't want to see this man getting death threats or racism and people making up crap online and everything. But then there was some people saying, oh no, but he's going to get hung. Like some of the black people saying, oh no, he's going to get hung by a white guy and how that's going to look and blah, blah. You're a bootlicker and everything. The ones that say that, you're a bootlicker. Look, I get it. I don't want to see the man get hung either, but I know why it's gonna happen. And he's not getting hung by the neck. He's literally getting turned upside down and floating in the air. That's all that is. And yes, he's gonna get picked on by some white dudes. And most likely, some of his friends are probably gonna get race bent because we ain't seen them yet. And so, or they might leave it out. I hope they don't leave it out because that's part of the story. And I know why that's part of the story. You know what I'm saying? But now you got people thinking that. And the thing about Snape is, like I said before, if you know the movies or if you know the books, then you know plain and simple, the man wasn't always evil and everything. He is literally a product of society and stuff. He was a little different, a little goth. He kind of liked the dark arts a little bit. He fell in love with a girl. He got picked on by now her boyfriend and stuff like that. And it caused him to be lonely and bitter and jealous and everything and angry. So when Voldemort came around and started doing the whole Death Eater thing, he decided to join because he wanted to be part of something. He got tired of being alone. He got tired of being isolated, tired of being ostracized and everything. It's kind of like joining a gang or something like that. And the fact he'll get some revenge on James Potter was probably, desirable for him and everything. But what happened? He found out what was going to happen to Lily and everything, and he wasn't down for that. And then, he's been protecting Harry the entire time. He despises him because he looks exactly like his father. But he has his mother's eyes, and he can't help but love the boy and everything because he loves Lily Potter. And when Dumbledore was like, yo, man, I need a spy and everything, he knew what was going to happen to him if he get caught, but he did it anyway. He is literally the true hero of the story, the unsung, surprise hero, but you can't give him credit for that no more, because now he's played by a black man, and your racism is acting all racist and stuff. You're getting your races on, but you're not getting your common sense on. And that says more about you as a person than it does a black man getting cast by a character who was white in the movie. Which once again, do we really even know the dude's race in the book? Most people don't. You know what I'm saying? I swear about people. It's funny when y'all say, what? We're not racist. It's a difference of opinion. What? No, it's our ancestors that are racist. What? Why does everybody think white people are racist? Well, here you go and everything. Here you go for the umpteenth time. Harry Potter, Star Wars, Star Trek, The Little Mermaid, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, April O'Neil. Y'all just can't help yourselves. This is who you are if this bothers you so freaking much. If it bothers you that this character got race bent, then maybe, just maybe, deep down inside, you are a racist and everything. Of course, the one who is moldy has struck again. I really wish this woman would shut her mouth, because it is so hard trying to be a Harry Potter fan in today's world when she's going around saying stuff like this right after the trailer dropped. Ooh, she's really hurting her own brand and everything, And it's just pure hatred. And it sucks because there are so many people who love Harry Potter but want to distance themselves from it. But at that same time, they love it so much. You know? I just wish she would shut her mouth and just collect her money. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.